Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Welcome to today's Crypto Blast, where myself and the awesome Cam from Institutional Fi will be giving a rapid roundup of the latest pricing flows and market moving news in crypto markets, but not the shitty meme coins. Well, we try to stay away from the meme coins. It's the professional side of crypto. But before we do, I'll get the legals out of the way. So as usual, nothing discussed on this basis session constitute trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PIQ, Institutional Fi, myself, Ryan Paisley, or Cam. Basically, whatever you hear on this, don't do anything with it.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, my friend. It's not so hot today, so I'm not dying. I'm not a part man, part puddle.
Part man, part puddle is a great
Honestly,
title
yesterday.
Anyway.
Yesterday, I was in a bad place yesterday, honestly. There wasn't enough talcum powder in the world. But anyway, moving on about my sweaty bollocks. Move on. What's been going on in crypto?
All right, let's jump into it. Although I can't, I've got an image. Oh no! Wait, do I like it? Oh dear. Anyway.
Oh no! Quick, seriously, we need to move on now. Right,
crypto market update. Let's jump into it.
Oh god.
Retrace. It didn't happen anyway. So let's start looking at BTC. So since our call on Monday, BTC trended down, reaching as low as $105,005. This resulted in a 2.1% decline. However, this was met with a constructive 8 consecutive hourly move higher this morning, and BTC is trading at $107,700. So not all is lost. But is it really lost at $105,000?
No, but do you know what?
But funny, if you thought...
Funny you should say that, right? So as soon as you say, like, oh, Bitcoin's come off or got sold off, and yet to 105,000, that's, you know, you got to doff your hat, right? It's incredible the fact that we're talking about a sell-off. We're talking about a sell-off and it's still trading 105.
Yeah, exactly. And I think over the last 40 days, BTC's only spent, less than a day trading below $100,000.
Get up.
It's really incredible. But yeah, if you weren't bullish enough or you needed a reason to be bullish, we've got a note that came from Standard Chartered today. With the note highlighted saying Bitcoin expected to reach new all-time highs in 2H. And you know how desperate sentiment is when you see comments underneath this headline going, what, in 2 hours?
Oh, no. Really? Oh, God.
A lot of comments on the timeline were in 2 hours' time. Okay, guys.
Oh, no. Just for benefit of the doubt.
Second half.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt, they mean second half of the year.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
God, that's embarrassing. But I'll tell you one thing as well with Standard Chartered. Like, Standard Chartered are known as being the biggest ball on the street for crypto. They've been calling like 265, 250 target for God knows how long.
Yeah, well, compared to their previous targets, I think actually this one's slightly more modest considering. And maybe this is just because they might have to kind of maybe just go, okay, maybe our unrealistic expectations
to be fair, though,
met.
Yeah, if touchwood when we do see like the 250 and whatnot, which they've been calling that, like, which they mentioned like a year or so ago, it will be a bit of standing ovation for them if it gets up there.
Yeah, well, there is that. They're basically aiming for, by the end of Q3, $135,000, and then by year end, $200,000.
Nice.
So yeah, it's more modest than it has been.
Yeah.
But if we look away from BTC for a moment, but only for a few moments, looking across to Ethereum now, Ethereum did receive a few pieces of news on headlines that we're going to go over shortly. But in previous market conditions, the news would have absolutely made the price of Ethereum rip toward the upside with little turning back. And one of the pieces of news includes a $250 million raise to acquire ETH. However, Ethereum reacted very muted, and we didn't see much in terms of price movement toward the upside or the downside. Ethereum comes in at $2,448. Very, very well. I'm not surprised given the market conditions and how we've looked and seen the recent history of Ethereum's price action. But yeah, a $250 million raise to buy ETH is not exactly bearish.
No, exactly that.
And if we look toward the flows for the ETFs, yesterday, so that'll be July 1st, Bitcoin recorded net outflows of $342 million and Ethereum recorded net inflows of $40.7 million. So continuing their streaks. If we look down the market cap list, Solana trading at $149, XRP at $2.19, BNB trading at $659. So this is where we're going to move on to the news that's happened this week. Looking at the institutional corporate moves, DDC Enterprise, which is listed on the NYSE, closed a $528 million capital raise for Bitcoin accumulation. Figma invested $70 million in Bitcoin ETFs and plans to deploy another $30 million via stablecoins. Bitmine, this is the Ethereum story that we're talking about. Bitmine raised $250 million to purchase Ethereum and make it a core treasury asset.
Oh.
Very surprised it didn't catch a bid off of that news. Green Minerals, which is a company based from Norway, entered a $25 million structured financing agreement to buy more Bitcoin. Volts Capital, which is based here in the UK, is to raise £1 million for further Bitcoin purchases.
1 million? What is this? What is this?
1 million.
Is this a raise for ants?
Exactly that. Up it. Oh, come on. Cyberstep, which is based out of Japan, is to buy 1 billion yen worth of Bitcoin.
Actually, what's that in real money?
Hey, I don't know. Was it a couple pennies? BTC AB, based out of Sweden, acquired 80 BTC, bringing its total holdings to 147 BTC. And lastly, in the corporate moves, American Bitcoin, backed by Eric Trump, raised $220 million for Bitcoin and mining equipment. With $10 million in equity sold in BTC, the firm plans to go public via a merger with Griffin Digital Mining. So yeah, that is going to be the news coming from the corporate moves. If we move on to market and regulatory developments, FTX creditor update. Claims under 50k received 120% of payouts in February and May of this year. Claims over 50k got around 72.5% in May, with the remaining payouts scheduled through 2026 and 2027, targeting a full recovery by middle of 2027. So we're still going to be seeing these FTX headlines pop up every so often.
It's never dying.
There is
like FTX.
It's never dying.
We'll be old and grey, and FTX will keep coming up somehow.
Exactly, Sam. Oh no, get away. Circle's USDC is reportedly being used by North Korean IT workers for payments, with tens of millions of dollars, in recent transactions. So this is sparked by criticism from Zach XBT, the blockchain investigator, and he has been targeted towards Circle for their lack of intervention after they claim to be compliant, whilst taking no action to freeze or monitor the funds funneled through North Korea. Controversial. Maybe we might start to see Circle's response in regards to this, but I think when anything that gets named with the words North Korea in it, you kind of want to do some due diligence before you start blasting posts on social media.
It could be worse. At least it's not like using Circle, using Circle for paying the ransoms of all the hacks or something. At least it's like from the article I read, it's actually like. It's the freelancers, well, I say freelancers, they're obviously probably chained up, but it's the IT workers in North Korea that are like doing outsourcing and doing work for other like entities, and and that's how they're getting paid. It's apart from North Korea being sanctioned up to the tits, there's not actually anything like anything
nefarious.
Kind of nefarious. That's the word. But I get your point. Yeah, it's North Korea, so we should be like, you wouldn't want to touch it with a shitty stick, really.
Yeah, no, exactly that. So Bax Finance, which is the company that is running X Stocks, the tokenized stock platform. So tokenized stock volume hit $1.3 million on June 30th, which was the debut, with over 1,200 unique traders. But only 6 out of the 61 stock tokens saw on-chain volume. So that is NVIDIA, MSTR, Tesla, Circle, SPY, and Apple. According to Crypto Brave HQ on LinkedIn, you have to do a bit of digging for this one. The 3 co-founders of the BackedFi team, again, the company, the team behind the X stocks tokenization, previously ran a company called DAO Stack. Now, according to ICO Drops data, DAO Stack raised nearly around $30 million in a private round sale and a pre-sale on ICOs from around Q4 of 2017 to May 2018. And at the end of 2022, DAO Stack announced its closure because it had run out of funds. So no doubtly all eyes are going to be on the platform for X stocks as they tokenize equities to see if they can pull this one off. But it seems to be going down quite well, although maybe there's a bias to pick with the 6 stocks that actually saw volume on chain. If we look over to banking and TradFi, Dodgers Bank plans to launch digital asset custody services by 2026, and they're going to be partnering with Bitpanda's tech subsidiary. The bank is also exploring stablecoins and tokenized deposits, and potentially looking into issuing its own tokens.
Oh.
Yeah, UniCredit SPA will offer a 5-year USD investment certificate linked to BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, which we know as the ticker IBIT, to professional clients in Italy from July 1st to the 28th of this month. The US SEC is working with exchanges on a universal listing standard for tokenized-based ETFs, aiming to streamline the approval process and reduce regulatory friction. And I think we covered this on Monday, but just in case we didn't, Robinhood launched its own blockchain on Arbitrum and introduced tokenized stock trading for European users. And the platform now offers over 200 US stocks and ETFs, supporting 24/5 trading. So yeah, pretty good news.
Funny enough, I've actually quite a large traditional markets trader that I know is actually set up an account to trade on that. Just to give it a go and see what liquidity is like and see what angles there are on that in terms of potentially ways to use up use up his crypto stable coins and stuff like that he has just lingering around. So it'd be interesting to see how many other kind of cases there are for that, where people have just built up crypto but they don't really want to trade crypto. They built up stable coins or whatever, and they don't really want to trade crypto, and this gives traditional traders an avenue to basically use those bullets.
Exactly. You've got ETH sitting around. It's not doing anything. It's practically a stable coin.
Well,
might as well put it in some stocks.
Calm down.
Oh yeah, obviously nothing that we say on this space.
No, definitely not.
So.
All in.
Yeah, all in. Send it to the moon. No, we don't say that here. We don't say that here on the Crypto Pod.
No.
But we just did. There we go. But that's going to be it from me today.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening in and hearing me ramble on.
Well, Cam, as always, very much appreciate you. You're awesome. Listeners, thank you as always tuning in, especially all of you that play this back on the replay. I promise this is going to start going up on Spotify and stuff with all of our other blasting when I find an extra 4 hours in the day to get stuff done. Also, Cam has started putting together everything that he says into a Substack, which goes out Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays when we do these. So do check out the Institutional Fi Substack. Get it followed. It's basically the interesting stuff in crypto that's going on without talking about, fart coin and all that bollocks. It's the stuff that actually matters. It's the bigger picture, but definitely give it a follow, give Cam a follow, etc., etc. But whatever you're doing today, keep it tight. Much love, and we'll see you on Friday.
See you Friday.